a court order compelled Larry Krasner to make public the names. We knew there were 29 officers. Now we know the names and what they've been accused of. And a lot of it is really troubling material. Federal investigation for corruption, child sex abuse, drunk driving, assault, domestic abuse, drug dealing, mishandling evidence, lying to authorities, burglary, and that's just a partial list of what's on there. And it's to the point where prosecutors say, this is your case, but I can't have you come on and talk about your case. And everybody who goes chung chung and they watch Law and Order, they know you first see the cops put the case together, then you see the prosecutors, they're supposed to go in together. They can't do that. And it raises a number of questions. When you read this list, you can understand why the public might go, wait a second, this makes me think twice about an officer telling me the way a case went. What is to be done with this information?
Well, I think the critical question is, what are the defenders and defense counsel going to do with it once they've had the disclosure of this information? I assume, I'm not a defense counsel, but I assume they have the power to call them as witnesses. So the fact that the district attorney's office doesn't decide to put them on the stand doesn't mean they won't be on the stand in a particular case. And my concern is much less about these guys that have been disclosed. How do they do this going forward? I mean, there seems to be discretion within the district attorney's office still to decide whether to disclose to defense counsel whether these people exist with problems, and that discretion, to me, should be removed, and they should be obligated to disclose that.
Christine, you're a lawyer. It makes me wonder, even if these officers aren't connected to your case, could you raise the specter of them and say, one apple taints the whole barrel? If this is okay for this person to be on the force, maybe my client isn't getting a good deal. Like, does this open the door for all kinds of shenanigans when it comes to trials?
It absolutely does, and you can see already that there have been lawsuits, civil rights suits filed, attempts to have prior convictions overturned when the names of some of these officers who were on that list have been released. You know, what George was saying, these names, this information should have been turned over as what they call Brady material. When there's anything that could be not disculpative, that could sort of go toward the innocence of a particular defendant, the prosecutor is obligated to turn that information over to a defendant, to a defense counsel. And if there is some question about the credibility and the character of the witness, of the police officers who are foundational to a case, that information should have been handed over. I think it's great that the names are being made public. I think it's important because, for transparency's sake, the public needs to be convinced that the people who are prosecuting these cases are doing the right thing, and that years down the line we're not going to have these convictions overturned because of this type of chicanery and hand clasping.